by having these kinds of tools capture the environment, capture the information, maybe even narrate to that tool what you see. So you have two kinds of input, one what the AI is drawing in, and what you as a user, an expert user, a subject matter expert as a matter of fact, can provide as guidance for the LLM that's going to process it later. But that what you can do then is you take that work effort in the moment. You may be doing an inspection for electrical on a construction site. You may be doing code enforcement inspections for compliance with codes and ordinances. But you can give that snippet of your reality to the system and let it process it for you in terms of any reporting you got to do, any forms you got to fill out, and any next action steps that need to be broadcast or shared with other workers within the organization. So it's like a force multiplier. It enables you to do twice the work in half the time, and as you excel at it, as you get better at it, as the device and the LLM itself gets more informed, you're able to triple and quadruple the force multiplication that you're able to do. For instance, we have one operation in green space where it is up to one, quote, inspector to go out and visit all of the sites that our vendor who manages landscape maintenance in the course of the week. They have 2 weeks to visit over 300 landscape sites around the city and trim, mow, pick up the trash, whatever they're doing, but it needs to be done, right? And over those 2 weeks, one inspector is driving around looking at the site and determining, just from his own personal knowledge and experience, whether or not the site is billable. In other words, did they do the work? Because they're going to charge us for it now. They're going to say, hey, we did this work, here's the bill. So his job is to, in many cases, just drive by the site, not really get out and look around to inspect it closely, based on his experience. And then he says, if it's fine, he can move on. He doesn't have to do anything. But if it doesn't comply with his evaluation of what he would consider to be a completed landscape maintenance site, he puts a little check mark into the system that we use. It's called Cartograph. It's owned by OpenGov, and enables those items in the work order for that week to be notified, and that will generate an email to the vendor to go, hey, you need to go back and revisit that site before you can bill me for it. So that's a long, shaggy process, and we help to automate it. And yeah, now it's better than it was before, because all he has to do is have an app open on his phone and checkbox. But wouldn't it be better to be able to just drive by and just give it in a voice command, or have the app review it, and then he can feed that information from a video standpoint to the system, and let the system, based on his expert guidance, his expert man and human in the loop, provide additional information that site is not acceptable, update the application that notifies the vendor. So that's one workflow that I see for this kind of thing, where people are already being tasked. And what if he's sick that day? What if he's sick 2 days in a row? What if he has to go take vacation? Who's going to do the inspections? Someone could drive around with an informed environment, informed camera and an LLM, and just video each site as they go. And if need be, have somebody follow up. What's that?
Take it one step further. Just put cameras, and nobody needs to drive around.
Well, and that's a good point too. So we're on the verge of that to some extent, but the cameras in and of themselves have their own issues with line of sight.
And there are cameras.
Do they need power?
Well, and again, there's all those mitigating factors in terms of a comprehensive deployment.
Power,
Listen, there are cameras.
I like the idea of drones, but then again, the problem with drones is you have to have a human operator.
There are cameras.
We've done that. We were monitoring the progress on our fire station 4 as it was being built. We flew that numerous times. But yeah, you gotta have to have a human who's in eyesight of his drone, their drone.
And approval from the
FAA approval, yeah, because we're just south of the airport.
Also, residents have been upset too. What is that drone going over my swimming pool while I'm
Yeah, when my wife is naked sunbathing. There are cameras. Drive on US 1 south, next Temple, Judea. You'll see a portable 4 cameras device.
Right.
And this is moving around to every time that there is a big scene of terror, like they have some Jewish services, and they're afraid that some terrorists will come and shoot the temple. They put it right in front with 5 police cars parked around to tell the terrorists go to somewhere else. and then they move it around.
From a GIS point of view, can you integrate things like, for instance, pump stations for water, or other things that need kind of inspection?
So,
Or on demand inspection like pressure. Let's say an elevator with sensors, and then also to have something listening that can send information.
we are discussing it internally because we do have pump stations for sewage, right? So
Yeah, right,
all
right.
of the places that are not on septic tank, when you flush the toilet, it flows out into a pipe in the street, that goes down to a pressure main, that gets pushed out into Key Biscayne, down in Miami-Dade
And
County.
flood the street with you know what.
So hopefully it doesn't flood anywhere, but it may percolate up. So we do have inspections that we've tried to automate, but a lot of the pump stations require, someone to go into the ground. It's an enclosed area. So there's ways of addressing that. We're looking into all of that. But yes, the automation side of it is our focus.
The gas stations have the same problem, because they have to measure the complexity of the chemicals, and especially when the heat, because of the evaporation of the oil. So they have already a process. Maybe you can implement that same process. Obviously, it's a solid waste, but
Sure.
some sense of it.
Okay, anything else? Mark,
Comments?
first of all, thank Mark for coming out. I'm just
Thank you.
Their whole group of innovation and technology is just amazing, and they really have won a number of awards now for smart cities. They're trying.
Can you talk about smart cities or?
You want to just?
A little bit.
I can always talk.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
tell them
tell us a little bit about how you get
I
there.
have no shortage of words. So smart city. This has been a process that we initiated just before 2018. We were deploying IoT and smart sensors into the environment. Very small scale, very small footprint, but it's grown out over the years. So if I dare,
You want to go in?
if I dare,
עוד אחד, כן? אוקיי, למה? אשתי בדיוק בניו יורק, אז אני קצת חופשי.
did I do it? Did I do it? Yes, I
Yes.
did it. Yes, I did it.
Fine. Okay.
So two elements here. One is our smart city application, which is basically a clearinghouse for all the things and services that we're doing from an innovation and technology standpoint. So what we have across the top, we have a data marketplace where you can go in and access data, various types of data. There is the ability to see what's going on in the city through these various links to support that we have. So you can see transparency about the annual report, how money is being garnered and collected, what it goes to. There are tools for you to use on the website. This is a kiosk in the open that you can go interact with. It's got a touch screen. You can get information about the city. We have reports for police to citizens, so you can request information. This was a new website we just recently created on behalf of the city. Because the prior vendor, we had changed vendors, and the new vendor did not have an actual ability to collect crime data for citizens. An app store, so all these different applications that we have in the city. I'm going to keep it simple. Other services and what have you that the city you can access to. You can pay your stormwater bill. You can pay special assessments. But to the issue of smart city, the Internet of Things, we have sensors, as you can see. There's a host of these different services being enabled. And I really like this picture because this, you can't see it that great, but this is an integrated IoT sensor. It's got audio, it's got video. You can talk to it if you need to report something. It's got gas sensors. It can detect gunshot and triangulate with other sensors. So
The air quality.
It can view
Air quality, traffic,
It can
doesn't
view
it?
traffic. It knows directionality. It can count cars. It can count pedestrians. It can count bicycles. So this is one of many that's in the wild here in the city, or there in the city.
So what
Are
I
you
really
able to
like-
take action on traffic? like modify lights and things like that?
No,
'Cause
that's coming. We're
The
in an
next version.
arrangement with the
We need
Pacific
that.
Northwest National Laboratories doing research on traffic control using connected vehicle data, as well as sensors in the road and timing controls on lights. We've arranged things with the county so that we have control on a couple of lights, so we can monitor the gases from idling traffic and let the traffic flow. We can monitor the movement of traffic across intersections and directionality and that sort of thing. We're into phase 2 of that. The second year of it is ongoing now. These sensors here, these are part of an Intuvision, who's the vendor, analytics sensor. So this is counting cars and pedestrians in different parts of the city. This is all the sensors, so this is just one area of the city, the downtown financial area. This is online right now. You go to coralgables.com.
What's the URL?
coralgables.com, you scroll down the page and there's Smart City right there. But in parallel to the Smart City,
Excuse me, is there any of those data sets available, just like?
all of it.
All of it's failed.
Yeah.
That's the key. What the problem is, and where I see the bottleneck is, we have so much data. How do you make sense?
Yeah,
How
so-
do you integrate it? That is the key. Because now it used to be, oh, I have to pay for my data. Instead, so much data you get free. My contention and what we're always trying to struggle with is how do you analyze it and how do you make it that it's readable to the decision makers?
Okay, so here's my mantra. So data is BS. I don't care about data. What I need is information. But even information is just another layer of baloney.
Right.
What I want is knowledge. And what knowledge is constituted of is the information and the experience. How does it impact people? What is its purpose and how is it useful?
So
How
the
do you take
voters,
that
the voters recognize it. Most of the voters and the residents have no clue whatsoever.
Well, and in fact, that's the case. When you go to City Hall with a complaint, you're complaining about a thing, not a data,
Right.
and not information. It's like, what is the point of public notice? The point of public notice is to know that when the commission is going to meet, or when a